Hey, good evening, everybody. If you're joining us right now, let us know in the comments so that way we can start, enjoying you being here and saying hello, and so we can start some discussion tonight. Tonight we are kicking off a new series. We'll get to that in just a second. But if you're joining us, hit that like button. Let us know in the comment section. I see some of you on here. Amber's on here. Anna's here. Alive and well. Awesome. Sherry's here. We got Reagan, so everybody's popping up. So just as you get in, encourage, if you see anybody else popping up, encourage them to let us know that they're here. And we are, again, starting a new series tonight called The You Effect. I'm really excited. This is one that I'm going to bring Will in on for a few minutes tonight, and we're just going to jump right into it as everybody's joining in. So I'm going to say what's up. We got people on. Cool. All right, so the You Effect. Some of you may have seen on Instagram our image that was put up there, our cool little bumper like the one that we had just before this. Our bottom line, I'm going to start off with that because I want you guys to know where we're going with this from the beginning, is you have more of an effect than you think. So with that, we live in a world with people that are called influencers, and I just learned about these people on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Like, they are so active on social media. They're active on the news. They're starting to get involved with TV. And I didn't ever understand what they were, but they're these people that just have such a big following, and they have influence over people's lives and how, they delegate their time, what they purchase from the internet, what TV shows they watch. They do ratings on YouTube. They do workouts. Some of you may have done some of the workouts on YouTube from the Quarantine Bingo. I could not believe how many different influencers there are, and I didn't realize what this was. But Becca's always showing me people, she's like, oh, look at their cool camper. I'm like, what? They're living out of a camper? What are you talking about? And it's this really cool camper that they redid. So the world is full of all kinds of influencers, and they influence us in many different ways, from, consumerism and things to purchase, things to stay away from, or from healthy living to working out to, what TV shows to watch. They're rating video games. Ninja, I guess, is one of them. Simon has an account on YouTube, and I'm sure he understands what I'm talking about with these influencers. They're so impactful, more than we know. They're the kind of people that right now during the coronavirus, they're all over the place telling people to stay inside. They were telling us all the precautions that the CDC recommended. The president told them, hey, if you're an influencer, if you're a celebrity, you have the responsibility to talk to everybody and tell them how to be safe. That's intense. I didn't realize how well known they were and what they did. And then, this series comes up, and this is exactly what we're talking about. It's the influence and the effect that we can have on others. So I'm going to ask you guys all to take a moment in the comment section and think of somebody who has a positive effect. Somebody that you know personally, they walk into the room and everybody lights up. A smile comes on their face, or everybody starts to laugh because they are always cracking funny jokes, or everybody floods to them and just wants to talk to them all the time. So while you guys think of those, you don't have to say who it is, but think about that, and let your small group leader know. Be like, yeah, I know exactly who Dylan's talking about. I have somebody just like that. But I'm gonna ask Will, come on over here. So Will, everybody welcome Will. Come on in. Come on now. We wanted to have the clapping thing in the background, but we don't have that. We're not that fancy. So who is somebody that has that positive influence that I was talking about? Somebody that you can think of.
For me, it's both my parents, my mom and my dad. My mom, she's in this group at Crossroads called the Crazies.
Okay, I've heard this group.
Yeah, and it's just a couple friends of hers, and they make videos sometimes, parody videos, and then just hang out. It's so funny. And she's also in this Facebook group of a group that got Courtney Amos to join Facebook. Okay. All these people work together to get her to join Facebook.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah. But every time they walk into a room, everyone's just so happy. They're just a great example great Christian example, a great way to live life, and yeah.
And do you see how they influence other people when they do that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a crazy effect that you see, the crazies.
Yeah, the crazies.
So with him mentioning his mom and dad, I would actually add him and AJ into that.
AJ.
Yeah, AJ's funny. I mean, I would show up to middle school guys group when I first started in CSM as a volunteer, and I would just gravitate to AJ. It's like the kid is funny, he's smart, and he just always had a smile on his face. Yeah. And you had the same thing. You were always wanting to come in and just start a game. Like you would do that, and people would just flood immediately to you. So I always saw that you had that impact as well. And somebody else, your dad is definitely one. I definitely know that. Like he walks into the church after being gone for like a whole year, walks in by himself, and everybody floods him. So there you have it, guys. Like if you guys can't think of anybody that you know personally other than the Amoses, that's a good example too. Just look at them. They have this positivity with them, and they just bring a good smile to all our races. That's an influence. So thank you for being here. Thank you for letting us know
Thanks
that.
for having me.
All right. So then I'll give you guys mine. So I have a few, but I'll try and keep it brief. My chemistry teacher in high school, the guy was Mr. Wally. I remember him so well. He was, imagine the guy from Breaking Bad, but way geekier looking. He had these really big Coke bottle glasses, this beard that was super straggly, and it was trimmed, but it was so just like, it was not straight, like it was just so curly. And then he had this hair that was long and luscious everywhere except here. He didn't have any hair here,
Whoa.
you know? He had like this, he had the friar tuck thing going on. But man, the guy would walk into the room, and it didn't matter if you had an F in his class, it didn't matter, you'd be smiling because you'd be happy that he was there. And it comes from just who he was. Like he would show up, and you know, I wanted to just be his tuition or his teacher assistant. After I finished his class, I went back twice to be his teacher assistant. I don't know how I did that and still graduated, because that took up 2 whole semesters of just helping him out. But I would walk into the room, he'd be like, "Hey, you want to blow something up today?" I'd be like, "Yes."
That's awesome.
He'd be between periods. He would have his screen projector up, and he'd have his video games on, and he would let the students come in and like hang out and play video games with them. He was the kind of guy that if he caught you cheating in class, he wouldn't automatically fail you. In fact, you cheating was showing him that you cared enough to try, right? So he was like, if they're cheating, it shows me that they care enough to try cheating.
Wow.
Right, but I mean, there was more to it than that. You know, like if you were not a good student in the class whatsoever, like you didn't apply yourself, then he would give you what you deserve. Mm-hmm. But if you were like just struggling all the time, and then like you were worried about your grade, and he'd got you like, you know, with your notes on your hands for a test, he wouldn't fail you. He would just grade you normally, because he'd be like, look, it mattered to you. You know, you tried, and you would have to put in that effort. But it was that kind of stuff where it didn't matter. He would walk into my English teacher's room when I was in English class, and I don't know about anybody else, but I'm sorry for any English teachers out there. English sucks, all right? Writing sucks. I can't stand it. And it was always a miserable class to be in. I loved the books that we read, but man, who loves English class? Like, let us know in the comment section. If you love English class, I envy you, because it was painstakingly horrible when I was in there. And he would walk in and everybody would light up, even the teacher. Like, you'd never see her smile all year until Mr. Waller walked in, you know? So that was one, and that was one of the main ones I can think of that just super impactful in my life. And I would hit him up on Facebook for almost the first 3 years after I was in high school, and he knew exactly who I was. You know, he was just an incredible guy. So, if you can find somebody that you think of that's like that, it can be a teacher, it can be your parent, as Will was describing, it can be a friend, and it can be an influencer, like the job title influencer, if you want to go that way. But if you can think of one, do it. I see Becca loves English class. It's her favorite, from Sissy Rotown. Well, Becca, I think that's Becca saying that. It's my wife. She loves English class. She likes to write, but she more than anything, she likes to read in Shakespeare, which I can't do it. It has to be a movie about Shakespeare.
Yeah.
You know, like it has to be like She's the Man to be talking about Shakespeare. And then I got math. People like math.
And more math.
Yeah. Reagan, do you agree with me, or do you agree with Becca, or do you agree with Anna? Do you agree with, like, the
He
math
agrees
part?
with himself.
He agrees with himself. Like, Naomi said no lunch. What is no lunch? I don't understand. You like school without lunch? But, I mean, I don't know. That was one of my favorite subjects. We got an A-man in there. So you guys get what I'm talking about. Like, this could be anywhere from a teacher. It could be to somebody in the church. It could be somebody. It could just be that guy that works at Taco Bell. That every time you walk in, he puts a smile on your face. Awesome.
Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. You know, we'll do the Chick-fil-A, the shameless plug of Chick-fil-A there, because we have like everybody that works there. So that's Will's shameless plug. Come to Chick-fil-A. We're still open. You know, we won't close unless, you know, nothing short of the apocalypse.
Exactly.
Close. He said that to me once, and I actually believed it.
It's true.
So yeah. So somebody here said it was Buzzer 1996. I believe that's Trevor. I'm still trying to remember your name, but I believe it's Trevor. My mom back in youth group was one of those adults that kids gravitated to. She was always being silly and fun for kids to be around. She babysat lots. Exactly. This is Craig Sexton. Another one that reminds me of that. Craig was just that guy. Like, dude, I don't know how he did it. I know it's probably because he's a firefighter, but I would show up and I would be like, yeah, I'm the young new guy. You know, he's older than me. I was like, I could beat him at all these games.
Right.
He would whoop me.
Yeah, Gaga Bowl?
Yes.
He was so good.
He was good at that. So,
yeah.
All right, now that we have that down, now that we've thought of you have that person in mind, okay? Keep that person in mind as we talk about this. And you can do this too. You can think of somebody that has the opposite effect. Somebody that walks in, and don't name anybody that's mean. You know, we want to build people up. Think of somebody that when they walk in the room, the room becomes like you're on an edge. Like you're constantly standing on an edge and you feel like you're gonna fall off of it. Or you're standing on a beam and you're just constantly nervous because you don't know what they're gonna do, what they're gonna say. This person's always angry and they bring everybody down. Like, this is another type of influencer, guys. Like, just because influencers generally, like the title, have a positive effect, there are people that have a bad influence on people. You know, we have that at my work. At my work, there's somebody in my clinic that just is always down, and when you walk into the room, you can feel that, and so then you have to try and fuel it to come up better. You know, you got to lift them up. Sometimes these people make you just want to reclude back and just become like a little Black Widow, go hide in a little corner and not come out during the entire time that you're in the same room with them, and that's fine. But we're going to talk about how we can avoid being that person, because you have more effect than you think. Will just learned that, hopefully, maybe probably not, that he was one of the people that I was thinking of. Or maybe there's a person that's just very loud and like it escalates everybody else to being loud. Like, there's always that person in class, right? That, like, the teacher's like, all right, you guys can have your own little small group discussions for these projects, and all like it just keeps going because everybody's trying to get over this one person.
Compete.
Yeah. Or maybe it's that group, you know.
Right.
But here's the thing about people that have a good thing or a not so good thing in regards to their effect that they have on people. Most of the time, they don't know it. They don't really think about it. Maybe they know it, but they just don't really think about it. Like, it doesn't bother them because it's not affecting them, it's affecting others. Our outward effect, not our intra effect, is what helps us decide, like, I don't really do that. And some of you may even, be thinking in your mind, you're like, I don't have any effect. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't affect others. But you do. We all do. Okay, Anna Kanicki said, I'm homeschooled. Lunch doesn't count. Okay, fair enough. We got a lot of homeschool kids in the Crossroads thing going on over here. That's cool.
Military.
Homeschooled and military. This is true. Yeah. I was not homeschooled as a kid, but I was really close to it, and I'm in the military, so I don't know if that makes any difference. But so what I like about this series is for the next few weeks we're going to be talking about the you effect, right? How you affect people in the situations around you. In other words, we're talking about influence, as I've said before. And for some of you, your influence is obvious. Will, influence is obvious. Amber, influence is obvious. She makes me laugh. My daughter, her influence is obvious. I mean, she's 5 months old today, and influence is obvious. Well, I mean, as long as she's not, while she's crying, I'm like, all right, are we done with this?
We
Like,
need to bring her in more.
Yeah, we do need to bring her in more. But, so there's that. But maybe you hold some type of leadership position. So maybe you know about your effect that you have on people, or maybe you know that you do have an effect, but you don't know what it is. Or you have friends and you understand people listen to you and almost always take your opinion outright and seriously. Like you always find that your friends are always asking you for your opinion. That should tell you right there what your effect is. Like they obviously value you because you affect their life in a positive way. So whether it's something serious like who your friend should date, they might ask you about that, or maybe it's something random like what Avenger you think is best. Like somebody might copy that because I'm gonna be like, dude, I want to be like Will. He likes Captain America. That's who I want to be around. Who Avenger do you like?
Captain America.
He likes. All right, hey, if you let us know who your favorite Avenger is. All right, now we're not talking like Avengers Junior. We're not talking, Spider-Man plus 50. Like we're talking about like Spider-Man. You got Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, Hulk. I guess we'll talk Black Widow, fine, Hawkeye,
wow.
Scarlet Witch.
Black Widow.
Well, it's just like she's just in the comic book. She didn't have that much of a presence in the Avengers. She had more of a presence on her own. So she's really come out lately. So and now that she's having her own solo movie.
Yeah, Taskmaster.
I know.
I
it's
love
kind of
it.
awesome. So let us know who's your favorite Avenger. I just got told by somebody to stop talking so loud. I'm gonna have to figure out what that means.
Maybe I should turn you down.
I guess so. Maybe.
I'll be right.
Or just turn your volume down. Everybody that's listening, if I'm too loud, turn your volume down. If it's on the lowest setting, then I guess you should silence me. I'm sorry. It's okay. So, who's your... Okay, so Naomi said Thor. Thor is awesome. Now, do you like Thor because Chris Hemsworth is Thor, or do you like Thor because of who he was as the Avenger before? Anyways. Okay. Oh, I'm just excited. So you're saying calm down. Like, all right, yeah. Look,
okay.
Maybe. I don't know. That's the thing about... I think I did misread that. You're right. So Spider-Man, I got Reagan saying Spider-Man. I mean, you can't not like Spider-Man.
That's true.
You can't.
Any variation. Even.
Right, that's true.
Yeah.
Maybe the bad ones. I got to play Captain America accidentally in real life one time. It was really funny. If you want to know about that, hit me up. It was really interesting. There was literally people thinking like, why is this kid in a Captain America shirt? Like why is he saving people from a burning building? I was like,
what? I didn't hear this story ever.
Maybe I'll tell you later. Black Panther, Hulk. Okay, Black Panther. I forgot about Black Panther. He is newer for me in the Avengers thing. When I think of Avengers, I'm thinking of like Superhero Squad Avengers from like Cartoon Network or whatever it was.
That was a good show.
Yeah, where Falcon was like an actual Falcon dude, and then he had a real bird. So.
I love that.
Anyways, I don't know. We got really off topic here. So, so on the other hand, going back to influence. On the other hand, some of you may say, I don't affect, impact, or influence anyone, and the me effect is 0. Like I'm at the meter of you effect is 0. I'm going to tell you, without getting further into this, you're wrong. You have an effect. All right. The only person I have an influence over is my family's dog. Like, okay, maybe. That might be true, but you're influencing dog. That's still, they have personality, they got an effect on you too. Dogs affect families, just saying. All right.
That's true.
So just think of that. Either way, it's totally normal to have the thoughts of like, you're in a leadership position or you don't, you're a leader naturally or you don't think you are, you think you have an influence or you don't. Either way, it's totally normal. Everybody's going to have a different aspect of their life where they think that they do or do not have an effect or an influence on somebody. And the truth is, no matter what you think or what I think about influence, it's possible, even probable, that we don't realize how much the you effect we have and how much you affect me or I affect you or what could happen because of it. So here's the truth. We're going to look back at somebody who used to use what they had to affect others. And we're going to find this in John 6, 1 through 6. So I'm going to grab my Bible here. I can read it better than I can on the screen. When it comes to this, I have really bad issues with my eyes. Okay. I flipped to the wrong page. There we go. That's what happens when I dropped it and I lost all my notes.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Sometime after this, so this is, again, John 6, 1 through 6. Sometime after this, Jesus crossed to the far shore of the Sea of Galilee. That's the Sea of Tiberias. So if you guys ever want to look up where's the Sea of Galilee, you can look that up too, because some maps won't show it on there. And a great crowd of people followed him because they saw the signs he had performed by healing the sick. Then Jesus went up on a mountainside and sat down with his disciples. The Jewish Passover festival was near. Okay, big time in Jewish or in Israeli culture, Passover. Becca and I love Passover. It's just an incredible time to grow your faith. Next year, I hope that we can do a Passover Seder as like a student ministry of some sort. But Passover is a big deal. So if you guys don't know what Passover is, we can walk through that. We can go over that. But this is a big deal, especially during this time when Jesus is there because of what he does. Not necessarily right now, but just during Passover, because what he did. He was the Passover lamb for all of us Gentiles. So when Jesus looked up and saw a great crowd coming toward him, he said to Philip, "Where shall we buy bread for these people to eat?" He asked this only to test him, for he already had in mind what he was going to do. So imagine a scene, right? So imagine the scene. It's a large crowd that's gathered to see the great miracle worker, Jesus, right? And so you would never expect Jesus to come up to you and ask you, "Hey, what should we do? Where do we get this bread? Like, what are we gonna do, man?" Philip was probably dumbfounded. Like, why are you asking me, man? So he asked Philip what they should do. Jesus asked an imperfect person, as a perfect person, as God himself, he asked a person what they should do, where they should get their bread. If I were Philip, I would have been like, "All right, you're the miracle guy, aren't you?" Like, not me, no. I think this is your area, Jesus. This is my lane. That's your lane. But instead, Philip responds this way. Philip answered him, "It would take more than half a year's wages to buy enough bread for each to have a bite." Right?
Wow.
That was his response. So like that's how many people were there, guys. Like it would take a month's wages to feed all these people one bite of bread. So, in other words, you've got to be kidding me, man. If we're going to feed everybody, there better be someone with a lot of cash around. Because they're going to be the ones that make this happen, right? Like, I don't know about you guys. I cannot feed 5,000 with pieces of bread right now. I just can't pull that out, even with my monthly paycheck. Like, that's a lot of bread. 5,000 people. Like, we don't have, think about this. When you step into Crossroads on a busy 11 o'clock service, there is maybe 300 people in the room at a time. Maybe. Like, and our max capacity is like 600 and something. I don't remember right now. 628, because 314 is half capacity. I remember that's what Aaron said. Okay, because Aaron was mentioning that about yeah. So imagine that, but like imagine 5,000 people. Let me tell you what 5,000 people look like to me. I've seen it. Becca and I were at a music festival, one that is now dead, and it's just like a music concert festival that only arrives like one time a year in one place or something like that. And we were just going around, making rounds to all of our favorite bands that we knew at the time, stopping and seeing some new ones. It's kind of like Coachella, but not nearly as crazy as Coachella. I would never go to Coachella. I can't do it. I don't even know how I survived any music festival. I'm just too many people. But this one was like smaller. It was cool. And there was a surprise band that showed up, and I won't name them, but let's just say it's like Bon Jovi. All right, let's just say, whoa, Bon Jovi. You guys don't even know who Bon Jovi is. Well, maybe you do. I don't know. Let's say 5 Seconds of Summer.
Okay.
All right, 5 Seconds of Summer shows up, right? Mm-hmm. And Becca and I, like, we go and there's like this big board that has all the names there, like all the names of the bands, and then in the center it says, surprise band, 5 Seconds of Summer, and we lose it, right? We're like, oh my gosh, they're gonna play at like 2 o'clock on this stage. We got to get there at like 1 o'clock, and we did. And we were like, everybody had gotten the word out at this point. And at this festival, there was maybe 2 or 3, maybe 2,000 people at this festival total right before the morning. Before this thing started, like maybe 2,000 people. When the word got out that the surprise band was going to be 5 Seconds of Summer, I kid you not, we showed up and Becca got on my shoulders and there was 10,000 people behind us.
Oh my goodness.
I cannot tell you how insane that was. Imagining that Jesus fed half of that, just half. That's incredible. Just knowing that he did that, that the apostles did that. That's incredible. Like I couldn't, if I stood up and tried to see everybody, I couldn't see the end of the crowd. So imagine that, okay? Imagine we're trying to feed 5,000 people or 3,000, even just 3,000. Like that's crazy, right? So I know I went on about that, but who doesn't know Bon Jovi? Well, you know what? Good point. They did just come out with a new song, but Bon Jovi is like, they're from an older generation. Like they're not who, I don't even really listen to them unless I'm in like a old school rock mindset. Like I'm listening to Panic at the Disco and like Hillsong United. Like I don't know. So anyways, so imagine this scene. Fall Out Boy? Yeah, Fall Out Boy. yeah, fair enough. Name your favorite alternative rock artist right now. So the story continues, right? Let's go to the rest of this. Another one of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, spoke up. Here's a boy with 5 small barley loaves and 2 small fish. But how far will they go among so many? Great question. I would assume 1. I would assume 1. Like maybe you could, Will and I could split a fish, but I don't know about you guys. I'm a hungry person.
Yeah, having to like walk all the way there too.
Right. Like how? Like they walked away from their homes, like going back and then cooking dinner. It'll be like morning time by the time you do that. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
No, 1 fish and a couple.
Surprised no one brought snacks. Right?
I know, guys. If you're gonna go out so far away from the wilderness or from your home, like bring snacks. Like, especially by foot, you're gonna burn that energy. I can understand. Look, we're all lazy in the 21st century in our cars. Like all you have to do is go to a gas station and drive. Cool. Yeah. But these people walked. They walked. They didn't have a bicycle or even like a tricycle. They barely even had camels. Not everybody had a camel, guys. All right. I can't imagine a camel being comfortable to ride on either.
Right. No, I don't think so.
Maybe it's better than a horse. Who knows? If anybody's ridden on a camel, let us know. So apparently, only one mom in the entire village packed a lunch for her son. Right. So like, that's exactly what happened here. And Andrew thought this is worth pointing out. Yeah, we got somebody here who's got food. This is when Jesus went to work. He said, all right, have the people sit down. There was plenty, so we're in verse 10 and going forward here. There was plenty of grass in that place, and they sat down. About 5,000 men were there. Okay, that's just men. So that's something that people miss when they read this passage. It's not everybody. It's just, when they mention 5,000, that's just 5,000 men. That means there's several hundred to maybe even a couple thousand women and children, right? Like, so now we're reaching that 5 sauce of numbers here of like almost 10,000. Like we're getting there, all right?
And I know that.
Yeah. So Jesus then took loaves, gave thanks, and distributed those who were seated as much as they wanted. He did the same with the fish. When they had all gotten enough to eat, he said to his disciples, gather the pieces that are left over. Nothing is to be wasted. Anyways, but maybe there's a really important question that we have to ask here. Who had the biggest impact on this message? Was it Jesus? Was the main point the fact that Jesus fed 5,000 plus people? I don't know. Let's talk about it. It's easy to see that Jesus had influence. Like we all know that. Jesus was the biggest influencer in the world. He still has followers growing every year, and he's had followers for 2,000 years, right? So all these influencers that we focus like 30 minutes of our time watching their videos every day, and then none to the Bible, like you got to think, these people have not nearly the influence that Jesus has, but that's not who we're talking about right now, right? He had lots of it. I mean, by the end of this account, a large crowd was calling him a prophet because of the miracle he had performed. And then there's the disciples. They were impactful just by being associating with Jesus, right? But the real superstar of the story may not be who you think. We missed it. I ran right over it. The boy with the lunch. Now, at first, it seems like the opposite, right? How could a kid with some bread and fish be so influential? But the truth is, it wasn't the amount that he brought. It was what he had allowed. It was what he had that allowed him to make a difference. He was the only one who stepped up and had food. Now, part of me thinks, okay, he knew Jesus. Like he believed in him in that moment then, because he offered all that he had. His mom packed him the only lunch in the entire place, right. And he stepped up, a kid, and offered his food, right? It was his willingness and his supply. It was the small amount of supply that he had, but it was the amount of willingness that he had to make that influence there in that moment. He had an influence on Jesus right there, I'd imagine. I imagine Jesus be like, this kid rocks. Like, that would have put him smiling on my face. And I know Jesus he must have been smiling at this kid and being like, yes, he's got it. Like, he's got it. He's willing, he was there. And it was this would have been an even bigger deal in the context if Jesus was living in where children weren't valued. So if we remember the fact that in this time, children were not valued. Like if a child approached a group of adults without being summoned, without being wanted there, like they would just kick them to the side and tell them to go away. But this kid steps up right in front of Jesus, right in front of the apostles, and offers his food because he's willing. That's the context that you have to think about when you're thinking about this, when you're reading about this. But that didn't stop him from stepping up. So like the fact that there's this culture of children don't matter, that didn't stop him from stepping up. And it was his willingness to do it that ended up impacting thousands of people. Now, people probably accrued most of the credit to Jesus in that moment, but if it wasn't for the kid, it wouldn't happen. Mm-hmm. So think about that. You think about this in the context of your life. You have this effect. So now I'm going to go back to the comments here for a second. More people have heard of Jesus more than any other person in human history. Exactly right. I mean, this thing right here, okay? This is the word right here, and he's the living word, and right here is a story of him, and it's a story of God's love through him, right? So millions, billions of people rely and live on this word, and yet we're talking about the influence of a kid. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. All right, so it's very true. Thank you, Trevor, for that. Yes, Jesus is the most influential person I can think of in my life and in just millions of people's lives. So let's jump ahead to this. I bet this kid and everyone around this kid never thought of the influence that he would have in this story. He didn't take the stage. He wasn't well known or in a position of leadership. He wasn't a speaker or a preacher. He wasn't super athletic, popular, or academic, at least that we know of. I mean, if he was, it would probably mention that, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, Luke, like he being the doctor that he was, like that's written of his credentials in the Bible. Like we know what his past was. We know what his specialty was. We knew what he was. This kid we know nothing about other than the fact that his mom packed him lunch. And he brought it, like, hey, I'm going to bring my peanut butter and jelly sandwich tomorrow. We're going to go feed 5,000. Like, right. Dude, willing, right? So he wasn't cool or interesting enough that the writer would tell us his name. Like, this kid wasn't even named, guys. Wasn't even named. And yet, when we read this, we should be thinking of him as one of the most influential people in this story. Because it is by his example that we can see our effect that we can have even when it seems so small. or non-existent. Jesus wasn't looking for any of those things, though. He wasn't looking for somebody to take the stage. He wasn't looking for somebody to that was well known. He wasn't looking for the leaders of the temples at the time, or the synagogues. He wasn't looking for somebody super athletic or popular. He wasn't expecting, God in that moment. He wasn't expecting God himself, which is him, to be the person to do this. He wasn't expecting. That's why he asked the question to Philip, like, hey, how can we get some bread right now? The only thing that mattered was that the boy brought all he had, and it was enough. Because ultimately, this is what the power of Jesus had, and what Jesus was capable of doing through someone who was willing to be used, to offer what he had. This kid was willing to be a tool in Jesus' message, in Jesus' life. And it was that willingness that we can see how much influence he has. I can't stress that enough. It's so powerful. When I was reading that this week, I was mind blown because I had never read this story and thought of it that way. Let us know what you guys think. I mean, crazy, right? Crazy. The kid had the influence. So here's the application. Here's how we can apply this to ourselves. Looking at this little kid that's unnamed, we don't know who he is, but you have more of an effect than you think. And here's how. In other words, you have an impact that, and it isn't about doing more or having more or knowing more people or it's about offering what you already have to the people and the people and groups around you. It's about choosing to believe, even when it seems unbelievable, that you have an effect on your friend group. You have an effect on your section of the band. You've been in band. You have an effect on your teammates. You have an effect on your siblings. More than anything, because they look up to you. I cannot tell you the effect that I probably had on my brother when he was growing up, because the kid just didn't, he would fall asleep outside my door knocking on it when he would wake up in the night. He just wanted to hang out with me all the time. You have an effect on your siblings. You have an effect on your classmates. The effect, I just came up, I was just thinking about this. I was playing Fortnite with you, AJ, and Zach.
Right,
and I couldn't, Becca mentioned it, and it was really funny, but the effect that your dad had on you, that you then have on your brothers, and that I'm sure he has the effect too. You all talk very similar, right? And you all, your minds go to the same area when you start singing the song. You guys start singing songs randomly in Fortnite, on our headsets. But I can imagine that if Will wasn't there doing that, they wouldn't have that older sibling to look up to and have that be receiving that influence. So you have that. And that's just one that came up. Becca mentioned, she was like, gosh, they all sound the same. I can't tell who they are.
So funny.
Except for when we make fun of Zach for having an Australian accent. He definitely doesn't, by the way.
Yeah.
So here's, as you think about it, here are a few steps to consider. Identify the who. Who are the immediate people in front of you that you have the potential to influence? Who are the people closest to you? Maybe it's your siblings, maybe it's a friend, teammate, what have you, or people in your family. Identify the need. That's number 2. Identify the need. What is it the people around you need? Is it encouragement? Is it time? Is it someone to listen to, or someone to listen to them? Is it someone to help them with their homework? What is the need? Find the need and meet it. Right? That's the next part. Identify what you can do to help, then do it. So 1, identify the who. 2, identify the need. So the what. Who, what. 3, identify what you can do to help them, and then do it. One of the things that I used to say, and I don't know if everybody finds this, but if I find something that makes me angry, anger for me is if I see an injustice or something that just is wrong to me, that is a passion that manifests itself, right? So if I see, somebody that's hurt, and that's why I do what I do still. When I see somebody that's hurt, it makes me angry when I see people that don't stop and help, right? So then what do? I see a need because of my passion, and I go and help, and I do it, right? The Captain America story right there for you. I saw a need. I saw people that I was near. I may not have known them, but I saw people that were in danger, and I felt I saw that they had a need, and I had to just do it because there was a passion inside of me. Because when you see something that is a need, and it makes you a little bit angry or turned up inside, don't just get angry and let it manifest. Do something about it. But also, just be a kind person and recognize when somebody has a need that you can probably fill it, even if it's not your specialty, you know. So let's flip this before we head out of this message and roll into announcements and stuff. I want you to think about a person in your life who has affected you in a positive way. What was it about them that allowed them to have an impact on you? How did their influence impact your life for the good? I can tell you a million people, not really a million, but I have plenty of people in my life. So if you guys are having a hard time identifying this, let me know, because I have like a list in my head constantly of people that I'm like always thinking about. Like, you know, I may forget to pray in the morning, or I may forget to read my Bible, but I'm constantly thinking about these people because of the influence they had on my life. So, in the same way that others have had an effect on you, you have the same ability to have an effect on others. That's why we have small groups. By the way, if you didn't know, that's why we have small groups, because we want you all to be in the same room with people that can affect you and that you can affect, that you can influence. That's why we have small group leaders. You know, leaders, you have an influence. You have an effect on our students and the ones that are listening here and with us in the comments. That's what we have. Like, we have influence all around us, and that's why we have these people around us. Because people that you're around have an effect on you, and you have an effect on them, maybe more than you think. That's key. The effect that you guys have on each other is more than you think. The question is to ask yourself isn't, do I have the ability to impact others? Instead, it's, how will I influence others? How will I influence what I already have? Right? Ultimately, God has the power to change people. All you have to do is show up, offer what you have, and let him do the rest. All of us small group leaders, we are not like these credentialed people that went to seminary that are showing up every week to talk to you about Bible like stuff, guys. We're not that. Like, we didn't spend our entire like life earning a seminary degree. Like, we're not that. But we have something to bring to the table. Sherry, Trevor, Whitney, Becca, Amber, like, they have something that they're bringing to the table that keeps you guys coming back. Whether you think it's you, maybe whether you think it's the small group leader, or if you just think it's the cool games and meals that we have together, or because this YouTube channel that we have can be kind of hiccupy and I mess up a game or two and that's funny to you. Either way, whether you know it or not, these small group leaders have something that they're bringing to the table for you, and you have that too. You have that too. So I'm going to leave you all with that. We're going to pray really quick, and we're going to go into our next few slides here. So Father God, thank you for enlightening us and just bringing knowledge to this little boy that had the willingness to step up and bring what he had, that small lunch that his mom packed for him. Like, thank you, God, and thank you, Jesus, for recognizing his influence and showing us that we can have similar influence by having the willingness to bring what we have to the table. Thank you, Lord. It is in your great name, in Jesus' name, we pray. Amen. All right, so now we're going to head to announcements really quick. So Will's going to pop that up. Woo! Announcements. So the new summer calendar is coming out. I know it feels like we haven't had a steady influx of what's going to happen. What is the next year going to look like? What is summer going to look like? Where's summer camp? I know there's a bunch of questions that maybe you guys aren't actually asking yourselves, and maybe I'm the only one asking. I don't know. But summer calendar's out. We're going to be pulling it out to you and your parents soon, and it's going to look like this. We're going to have field games. Field games. The second Saturday, Saturdays change. You're going to see it. One Saturday a month, we're going to have field games out here. First one's on June 13th. June 13th, we're going to have a Battle Royale dodgeball game. All right? I decided this even though I told the winners of the game from Zoom that they were going to help me. No, sorry. I I didn't even reach out to you. Battle Royale Dodgeball it is. I need to get a bunch of dodgeballs, so that might change. But right now it's Battle Royale Dodgeball out in the field on June 13th, Saturday. And then skip a week to June 20. You know what? I have a calendar. 20. Sticking my tongue out on TV. Cool. June 27th. If I got that right. Becca will correct me if I'm wrong. June 27th, we will have some form of meetup as well, but we're trying to get it mission related. So we're going to find a way to reach out into our communities and serve. We're going to do that once a month during the summer, and we're going to meet up for field games once a month during the summer. As far as I know right now, the live stream for YouTube is still going to continue. And we are not going to meet up in the building until further notice. But we are going to have these times to meet up outside where people can't get on us about social distancing. We can play soccer. We can do all these things that we want and have fun. All right? Because summer is a fun time. It's a time for us to grow. It's a time for us to transition out of this quarantine time. I'm excited. So we're going to be coming out with that very soon. You'll see it. With that, we are going to be welcoming our rising 6th graders and our rising 9th graders this summer. So that is going to be really cool. If you can think of anybody that is a rising 6th grader that we haven't already identified, or if you have a friend on our kickoff on June 13th, bring them. If they're a new 6th grader, or even if they're just a regular friend that you haven't brought for a while, bring them. But we're going to be having this awesome kickoff time for that. Next is Zoom chat. The Zoom chat will continue. Every Wednesday at 6 o'clock, your leaders have the link, your parents should have the link, join in, and we're just going to continue having a fun time, having small groups that way until we are able to pull that back. We're going to do that this week, but at some point it will stop, and for the summer, we're going to transition to having meetups for small groups. So we'll talk about what that's going to look like in the next few weeks. But first, let's just get to June 13th. Let's have some fun. Leaders, you're invited. I don't know what it is about being on. I did not have Dr. Pepper today. Not a sponsor. Sponsor us, please. It'd be fun. I'm just kidding. And then that's all we have for announcements right now. If you're a senior, please stick around after this next. Just stick around for the next few minutes. But if you're not a senior, you can stick around if you want to. But the next few minutes, I want to dedicate to our seniors to talk to them about some planning or some ideas that I have for them that I want to move forward with. So thank you so much for joining us. If you enjoyed this message, awesome. Give us a thumbs up. Give us a thumbs up anyways, even if you didn't like it. You have an effect on others. Give us the positive thumbs up because that'll give us the effect that we want. We'll be affected by that. Yeah. Hit subscribe so you know what's going on. Oh, lastly, there was one other thing. Quarantine time. Quarantine talk. I say that every time. It's quarantine talk. Is our Instagram devotions on Friday nights at 8. This last Friday, it's not the last one. This coming Friday is the last quarantine talk of COVID-19 2020, the beginning of a new decade. I don't know. I was trying to think about how to make that a really long title. Anyways, we're going to all join in as much as we can, get on there at Friday night at 8 o'clock with Whitney for the final devotion for quarantine, because we are finally working our way out of quarantine. We can figure out a different devotion later, but I'm done. We need to eliminate the quarantine stuff, but I'm so excited because she's done such a great job, and we're going to find a way to continue to give out devotions to you guys every week. Speaking of devotions, you can join our devotion on the Bible app. It's called the U Effect for this series. Goes right along with it. You probably got an invitation. Join. It starts today. So join us in that. Thank you very much. Seniors, stick around if you can. Thanks. I'll give them a minute. Cool. Angry, especially people that take advantage of situations. Yeah, okay. Trevor, if you're still there, I feel you. Yeah, that's a good comment. All right. Naomi, you're welcome. All right, seniors, if there's any seniors out there listening that are sticking around, just let me know. Hey, here, so I can know that I'm not talking to anybody like nobody. And if I have to, I'll do this another time. Sherry, you have a senior. Yes, you do. Colin, I'm talking to you. If you're around, let me know. Anna, you're here. Cool. I think those were the two that I was definitely expecting tonight. So there are more seniors, by the way, that are not active in our CSM time right now. So we'll be figuring out how to reach out to them very soon. But I want to talk to you guys about something that is really on my mind lately. It's been on Amber's and I's mind for a while. Something that we have seen as not necessarily a failure. And it's not necessarily a problem, but it's something that we want to. Emily, thank you for screen recording. That'd be awesome. It is something that I want to talk about because we need to find a solution, and I think that we're on the right track. And that is that once you graduate from high school, like CSM is like oftentimes it's over for seniors. Like that's it. Like you starting over and you're going to college. Like you're transitioning into being adults, into being 18. So you can't like legally, I guess, hang out and do like or be in our student ministry stuff. Not that you can't. Like I want you guys to stick around, but that's the whole point. There's something else for you. Do not drop off the face of the earth. Like 3/4 or 75% or greater of high school students that are in the church, active in student ministry, when they graduate, 75% of them just drop off the face of the earth and they don't continue going to church. And we can't let that happen because you guys have an effect on our ministries, on our church, on the people around you, and you need a place where you can grow, where you can have friendship of people that are like-minded in the Christian word and are able to give you encouragement. And the biggest thing is we need to bring you in and keep you in, because we don't want you to just go out on the world and leave you out to not know how to start a group or start a Bible study or find that friend group that is within lines of your morals that's going to help you sharpen yourself. Iron sharpens iron. We don't need you going out and just feeling alone and isolated. So stop nagging, Colin. Stop getting old. That's messed up. Your time has not come, Colin. Your time has not come, okay? Your time is just transitioning. You're transitioning into new life. Will knows what I'm talking about. He came back, guys, so we're going to do some stuff. Yeah, come on up. Will, come on up. So, Anna Kaniki, you're new here, and you've been coming so consistently for so long. You've been active in our social media. You've been a real light in this whole thing, and you've been super awesome with your quarantine bingo that you got. Colin, you've been with me from the beginning since I started. You've been here since before me. Will has been here before me, and I think that Will can see what I'm talking about. Like, I don't want dropping off the face of the earth. Like, we have students right now that are recently graduated or graduating that aren't in student ministry, and I'm fine with that. But I also don't see them taking or having the motivation, or I don't know what it is, to hang out with us and let's get the opportunity. Yeah, maybe it's the opportunity. Maybe it's not. The opportunity isn't there. We need to create that opportunity. Thank you. The opportunity isn't there. Like, we need to create a culture where our recent graduates, all the way up through their first couple jobs, going into college, trying to graduate, you guys are in such a hectic time where you're earning minimum to lower wages, working for Chick-fil-A, going to college, just taking courses, trying to figure out your lives, trying to figure out what you want to do with yourselves. And I don't know, man, that can make you feel really isolated. And you can feel like there's nothing out there for you, that if you don't, and if you have a friend group, that's fine. If you have a place that you feel welcome and you feel like you can be yourself, that's great. But we also want to provide that for you as well, just in case you don't, or just in case after high school friends split up. Yeah. How many friends did you hang out with a lot in high school that you don't hang out with much now?
Yeah, a lot. Most people from Grafton.
Right. Yeah. Most people, there you have it. Same with me. I I did this to myself. I moved away in the military from all my friends that I had a support system. So we want to create this support system for you guys. And how we're going to do that is we're going to get you started, introduced, hanging out with our current, recently graduated, like college and careers, age people that are that need
Still
fellowship.
need a name.
Yeah, we still need a name for that. We're trying to come out with a cool name. But so join us. Or join Will more than anything. Join Will. Join any other. We got Ben Hovatter, Eric Arneson. We got Lindsay Thompson, Ireland. We have plenty of students that have recently graduated or are going to graduate very soon with you, Colin and Anna. That you guys need people that you can have fellowship with. And I'm not trying to make that sound like super Christian, where I just want friends and you're telling me to have fellowship. Well, it's the same thing. Just you get together and you hang out, and whether it's you do a Bible study or you eventually grow to do that, great. That's not what is important. It's important that you guys get together and have a community. So on this Sunday, I'm going to let you guys know where, but directly after outdoor service, first of all, let's all sit 6 feet apart as close together as we possibly can during the outdoor worship service. I'll even I'll post something that will be go sit right here on the field, right. Something. And then we'll go play mini golf afterwards or something. Just go hang out with just us recently graduating and go college and careers timing students / young adults, because you guys are all coming into this adult age where can be very fun, but it can also just be man, I don't have enough money to do any of this. But don't worry about that, by the way. If it's money that's going to hold you back because you can't get enough work hours because you're paying for school and your school's taking up all your time, don't worry about it. All I ask is that if you're not working during those times, this weekend, on this Sunday, right after church.
You guys shouldn't be if you're working at Chick-fil-A.
That's right.
It's closed on Sunday.
No excuse.
There's no excuse.
Come hang out with us. We're gonna either do putt-putt if it's open, which I'm pretty sure it is, or we're gonna do let's go get coffee or something. We're gonna do something. I gotta figure out if the putt-putt place is open. I feel like that'd be cool. I love mini golf. Mm-hmm. And look, see, you're never too old for mini golf, guys. I'm 26. Wait. No, I'm gonna be 26. Whoa. Okay, I'm 25, and I have a kid, and I still love mini golf. Okay, I kick butt at it. I actually don't. So join us. I'm gonna let you know what it is, but join us. Yeah, Anna, absolutely. Invite friends. That's what we want. And bring your friends. You guys have a place to be. You have people that want you around in the church and not. But come join us, hang out. Mm-hmm. So directly after service, I'm gonna figure out. Will and I are gonna work together on getting out where it's gonna go best. If you have any suggestions, great. But I think the putt-putt's gonna be pretty awesome. Yeah. But don't worry about money. Just come and hang out. We'll get that done. And we'll have some fun. All right. So, and Dylan, do you have a Google Hangouts? Yeah. I do. Thanks to this guy.
I made him get it.
Yeah.
So we can play Fortnite together.
Yeah. I got on there and all of a sudden his brother and his two younger brothers pop up and I'm like, oh, hey, we're live. We're on the Hangouts. Yeah, I actually just got it. So, Nate, cool. Mm-hmm. Nate, you're...
I thought it was. Yeah, Playground is open.
Playground is open. So we're going to do mini golf directly after service. We're going to head there, which means 12:30 to 1 is probably when we'll get there.
Show up whenever you can.
Show up when... Yeah. Even if you show up at 2 o'clock, we'll try to be there until 2:01.
3 o'clock.
Yeah, no, we'll hang out. We're going to have time. So, awesome. Let's see. That's it. That's what I got. And we're working out a thing for all you graduates because normally we'd have a kickoff service thing for graduating, but we're not going to do any services together for a little while until we figure that out. So we're figuring out something to do for you very quickly. I'm really excited. I hope you guys are excited for the summer. I know that everything kind of looks very up in the air, but we're going to figure it out. We're going to have a place for you. And you're going to have the opportunities to hang out with people like Will and Ben and other people that are your age that are in this transitional time. So join us. And Anna, if you want to bring Naomi along, because she's your ride. Cool. We like Naomi
Yeah.
anyway, so bring it. Like, just have anybody come. It's fine. I just wanted to keep you guys here because I wanted you guys to know that you're not forgotten. Even after you leave high school, like, we're still here for you. I'm still here for you as a mentor, whatever you want me to be, as a friend. I can be both of those now because you're adults. Like, I can be your friend, or I can be just somebody that you continue to be like, small group, cool. All right, you got anything? You got a, I don't know, whatever. So just let me know. You know, if you just want to play Fortnite with us, fine.
Yeah.
Play around is open. CSM Yorktown, 12:30. Perfect. 12:30. We're gonna. Somebody's gonna be there at 12:30. So show up whenever you can, like Will said.
Yeah.
So, everybody, thanks, Will. Thank you guys for joining us. He's gonna put up what I just said pretty much. And I love you guys. I'm excited. Thank you for joining us.